Hey guys, I just want to come on and do a little crochet with me video while I talk about something that's been keeping everyone up at night, and I'm sure that it has you as well, and that is the Titan sub. The mystery surrounding it, I mean, it is awful and so upsetting for the families. Just quickly before we get into this, I'm going to be crocheting another page of my quiet book. This page is worked up in the feather stitch. If you really want to know how to do that, it's an amazing textured stitch, then head over to my channel. I'll leave a link in the description below and you can learn how to do this today. Okay, so this Titan sub was a 5-person crew and it was owned by Ocean Gate Expeditions. They were going to submerge in a dive to visit the Titanic wreck, which is located 13,000 feet below the surface. This Titan is supposedly the size of a minivan. Honestly, I've been in a minivan and this looks tiny. It looks so small. And just think the ocean is pitch black. It's so scary. Why would they do it? I just don't know why. So they paid $250,000 per person to head down and look through this little tiny porthole. I mean, just imagine 5 of you are fighting to get a glimpse of the Titanic. Just stay at home and Google, people. Honestly, it's safer. So it would have took 2 hours to go from the top of the ocean all the way to the bottom at the wreck of the Titanic, and they're going to have a look around, they're going to swim around, maybe go inside it, and then they'll head back up. The whole trip would take roughly 10 to 12 hours. But when they submerged into the hour and 45-minute mark, they lost all communication with the ship above. There was nothing. The sub operator is controlling this sub with a PlayStation control. I mean, if I saw that, there was no way I would go in that thing, because you've paid all that money. You'd want it to look a little bit more professional, wouldn't you? I would not even consider it. There was actually one man that did demand a refund because he saw how it was run. He was just like, no way, I'm not going in that thing. Good on him, because I would have done the same thing. So on board, there was a British millionaire, one of Pakistan's most richest men and his 19-year-old son, which just breaks my heart, a French explorer, and the CEO of the company who was running the dive, so he was in control. So they began early Sunday morning with 96 hours of oxygen with them, and I think they had a bottle of water and a little bit of food with them. That's it. A tiny little toilet on board. It's like this little black box, and I think there's something to do with a Ziploc bag as well. I mean, if they are still alive, imagine the stress, imagine the smell, I can't even imagine. So experts have said that there are 5 possible outcomes to this, 5 possible accidents that could have happened. Number 1, they could be tangled on the wreckage of the Titanic itself. You've paid all that money to go and view the Titanic and you end up getting stuck in it. I mean, awful, unimaginable. Number 2, a power outage. The sub relies on batteries to operate. It controls the lights, the engines and the heating. If there was a power outage, they would be in complete darkness, and it is freezing down there. Imagine you're cramped in this little tiny thing with 5 people around you, pitch black, you can't stand up, you can't stretch your legs. Oh, awful, awful thing. Number 3, ghost nets. Ghost nets, I think, are described as, like the large fishing nets. I think they're thrown overboard. I think that's what they are. Don't quote me, I'm not an expert. Tangled in that, and they could be drifting, or they could be stuck at the bottom of the ocean floor, tangled in this net. That is terrifying. Number 4, which is awful, is implosion. As a Titanic explorer has said that after it stopped all communication, 1,000 feet below the surface, the pressure is 350 times greater than when they're above the surface. So the pressure of the ocean could have instantly crushed it, sadly killing everyone inside. It would have been instant. I'm not being funny, but if I was stuck down there with no hope and nothing, I would probably want that to happen just to get it over with. Number 5, a fire. Water could have seeped into the electrics, causing the whole thing to erupt in a fireball. So recently, sonar picked up banging sounds, which happened every 30 minutes. Now, I think a friend of the CEO has said he expected the CEO person that he would have done that. He said that's something he would do because it's like an SOS signal. Every 30 minutes, this banging was heard. Now, experts are analysing this just to make sure it's obviously not sounds, because there's a lot of sounds in the ocean, guys. It is huge, as you probably know, so it could be anything. But this is in the area where they're searching for this sub, where it went missing. So I'm hoping it could be them, and if that's the case, then they could still be alive. But I think it stopped, which is sad. I think all the banging has now stopped. So it's awful, it's absolutely awful. So as of today, the oxygen has officially run out. They have no oxygen left. Just imagine they're going to be anxious, if they're alive this is. They're going to be anxious, panicked, just clinging on to hope. I mean, when they're banging, when they're making these noises, they're probably just praying for somebody to hear it. I mean, what could they be going through? Imagine right this second just stuck in that little box in the middle of darkness, having no idea what's going to happen to you. I mean, it's just awful, absolutely awful. And it must be hell on earth, just utter hell. I can't even imagine it. I'm really hoping, as of now, creating this video, I'm hoping there is an update, and I'm hoping they'll be found, but people have stated that it's just highly unlikely. They possibly couldn't be found. I mean, and the dad on there of his 19-year-old son, I mean, that's just terrible. That's just awful. I cannot imagine how they feel. I mean, yeah, it's a terrible, and it's very sad. Hopefully you'll be back and you'll subscribe, and I'll complete another video like this when I've got something else to talk about. And I have a lot of things to talk about. I mean, just the other day I was watching videos about Cameron Robbins, the boy who jumped over the sea into shark infested waters. If you guys would like me to do a video talking about that, let me know. So yeah, let me know what you guys think, and I'd love to hear your opinions. And if you want to create this stitch, then as I said, go ahead in the description and you'll see the link below. So have a nice day, guys. Bye. At the time of making this video, I've just been watching the news, and it says that the US Coast Guard has now found a debris field. So I think we're going to know more later, but if that's the case, and it looks likely that it might be the sub, so very upsetting really, and I hope their families can, grieve in peace, and yeah,